हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू क्रैक एंड सिट। आज हम करने वाला है टीचिंग एप्टीट्यूड का यूनिट 7 लैंग्वेजेस एंड लिटरेचर। दिस इज लेक्चर 2 गाइस, एंड this is going to be a fun lecture because the tough part, the memory based part, we have already finished in the lecture 1. ठीक है, this is an easy topic, and if you are giving some attention to this lecture, I'm pretty damn sure that you will be getting at least 4 to 8 marks. ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं हम। लेट्स अगेन टेक अ लुक एट द syllabus of this particular unit. Languages and literature में based on famous stories, novels and poems that have reference to school education, learning and are in the NCET syllabus from class 6 to class 12, and biographies and autobiographies of famous women, tribals, Dalits who have described their school experiences, teachers or a class. Actually, in first lecture we have like I have given you guys a glimpses of what's the kind of questions you can expect from this subtopic, and it was of course a kind of memory based questions. I have also shared some important books and authors for you guys. Okay, and in the third topic we have difficulties that children face while learning poems or grammar. Okay, and guys, talking about these two other subtopics, ये पहले वाला, this one, actually I haven't seen a particular like questions directly dedicated to this subtopic. ठीक है ना? But this third subtopic, this is a very important one, guys. ठीक है, this is a very important thing, and you should not skip it. This is very easy to. So yes, guys, let's go ahead. But one more thing I would like to remind you guys is I have already talked a lot about this difficulties part. This is important in social sciences, languages, mathematics, whatever it is, because it is a teaching aptitude examination. Okay, so आगे चलते हैं हम directly. We are getting into one question so that you will get clear understanding. And one more thing is there about this unit, that is its unpredictable nature. That is its unpredictable nature. Okay, questions are kind of unpredictable, guys, but trust me, the questions from this difficulties part is pretty doable. ठीक है, you just have to थोड़ा दिमाग लगाओ, इसके बाद आंसर मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. ठीक है, so yeah, let's go to one question. The question is the correct sequence followed by teachers while teaching a chapter of literature. Yes, our syllabus had two things like learning poems or grammar. Okay, but here it's asked like the while teaching a chapter of literature. ठीक है, so हमारे पास क्या क्या options है? Reading of the lesson by the student, teacher giving question answers of the lesson, reading of the lessons by the teacher, teacher gives summary of the lesson. ठीक है, so this is the question and these are the options. But guys, you can still argue that every single teacher have different methods or strategies of teaching, different pedagogical methods. But as I have told you before, in this kind of entrance examinations we have to search for best possible answers. ठीक है, kind of ideal answers. ठीक है, so if you are thinking like that way, you can simply tell me that teachers giving question answers of the lesson should be in the last position. Why? Because how can a teacher ask you question before even teaching that subject? Actually, when we were talking about this unit 4, when we were doing some kind of formative assessment, we have talked about, क्या हमने एग्जिट पोल और एडमिट पोल्स के बारे में, एग्जिट स्लिप और एडमिट स्लिप्स के बारे में बता दिया था. दैट्स ए कॉन्सेप्ट इन formative assessment. If you don't know formative assessment, it's kind of important. I would recommend you to go through that, but it's simply, guys, for example, I will tell you formative assessment, like class test is a example of formative assessment, and end term examination and your board examinations are an example of summative assessment. ठीक है, I hope you got some kind of idea. ठीक है, so in that case we have talked about admit slips. Admit slips क्या था? Teacher is testing students understanding before taking the class. ठीक है, but in this question it's important, uh, you don't have to think like that. Okay, why? Because as I told before, we are looking for an ideal answer, and uh, what we have to choose is the best possible option. So this should go in the last position. So कितना ऑप्शन है उसमें बी लास्ट पोजीशन में आ रहा है? सिर्फ एक ही है, only the option number 2. So let's check the other options and make sure that we are following the correct order. ठीक है, in the second option D is coming in the first place. D में क्या है? Teacher gives summary of the lesson. ठीक है, a teacher is starting her or his class from giving the summary of the lesson. इसके बाद क्या है? C, reading of the lesson by teacher. ठीक ही है, teacher is giving summary, then she is reading the lesson. Then क्या है? Reading of the lesson by the student. ठीक है, I am just following this order guys, D, C, A, and at last we are having B, which is teacher giving question answers of the lesson. ठीक है ना? So I hope it's clear to you guys. This is why I told you guys, these are very simple. ठीक है, you just have to use your logic. And guys, this sometimes this can be confusing also, I can understand, but you just need to know one answer. ठीक है, इसमें क्या सिंपल था? Evaluation usually comes in the end position. With just that reasoning you got the answer. ठीक है, you can apply this to other questions too. So आगे चलते हैं, let's go to our next understanding. इसमें थोड़ा theory भी आ रहा है. ठीक है, I am discussing these questions because this is also having some kind of theory portions. ठीक है, the aspects of languages are semantic, graphic, syntactic and phonetic cum graphic. ठीक है, maybe you guys are wondering, I know, I can understand, ये सब क्या है? पहली बार सुन रहा some topic and some of you guys. ठीक है, so what we are going to do, we are going to uh, the, the details of each of these words. And trust me guys, this is kind of important because these are some important aspects of language, and maybe some questions like this can come, like semantic का मतलब not directly, but we can't expect the question paper, so we should be knowing about the things because this is a question from the previous year. ठीक है, so आगे चलते हैं, let's see what this actually means. So the meaning of semantic is it like focuses on meaning in language. ठीक है, as I told before, these are different aspects of language. Semantic focus on the meaning of language. ठीक है, भाषा का मतलब के बारे में it gives focus. ठीक है, and graphic, it pertains to written representations or visual symbols of language. Guys, we are all having letters, right? You are reading this because I have written it in a computer keyboard, right? So these are some kind of tools we have developed to read. ठीक है, so graphic is coming under that. And then we have syntactic. ये क्या है? It deals with the structure and grammar of sentences. Guys, we were also talking about this English language, right? उसमें भी मैंने बोला था ग्रामर एंड स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेंटेंसेस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक, एंड हम सबको पता है विदाउट ग्रामर भाषा क्या है? कुछ नहीं है ना? विदाउट ग्रामर हाउ कैन यू, विदाउट अ फ्रेमवर्क हाउ कैन यू कम्युनिकेट, right? So grammar is very important, and syntax is dealing with these kind of aspects. And then we have, maybe some of you have heard at least heard the term phonetics, like it deals with language. Phonetic come graphic, that is the fourth one. It combines sound, phonetics. Told you now, this phonetics. Actually, if you are going for BA in English or something like that, you will be learning about this in detail. Okay, but this is important aspects of language. Phonetics and written forms, graphics in language learning and usage. ठीक है, सो हमारा क्वेश्चन में इसका यूज क्या है? लेट्स टेक अ लुक. हमारा ऑप्शंस क्या क्या है? सेमांटिक, ग्राफिक, सिंटैक्टिक, फिनेटिक कम ग्राफिक, चार ऑप्शंस आ रहा है, बाकी सब में सिर्फ तीन आ रहा है, एंड दिस थर्ड ऑप्शन में लिंग्विस्टिक भी आ रहा है. ठीक है, बट एक्चुअली वी हैव सीन these four are important aspects of language. ठीक है, and here we are in the fourth option also we are having syntactic, linguistic, phonetic and graphic. ठीक है, so इधर क्या मिस हो रहा है? we are having the semantic, but semantic is very important because it focus on the meaning of language. Without a meaning भाषा क्या है guys, है ना? So इसलिए it's important. Sorry guys, it's important, and our answer is this first one. I hope you guys are having some kind of idea. I know it can be confusing, है ना? But you have to expect some kind of questions like this also. But don't worry guys, you can somehow deduct the answer of these two. कैसे मैं बता दूंगा. If you know some, like if you have some idea of about this, like for example graphics, you can think like क्या भाषा में क्या graphics में आ रहा है. So you know graphics is something related to drawing and something, so maybe it's talking about letters, है ना? So like this you can deduct some kind of questions like in the exam hall itself. Okay, I hope this is clear. I hope this theory part is also clear to you guys. ठीक है, आगे चलता है. Again we are going into one question. ठीक है, this is talking about, this is a very easy question guys. I took this question so that you guys can appreciate the easiness of this unit. ठीक है, इसमें क्या है, which of the following statements is false with reference to language? In this kind of questions you have to give more importance to like the question itself, because here it is asked which statement is false. There are two kind of questions like true and false, है ना? But sometimes what we will think, maybe in some kind of questions you are getting which is not, you will be in a rush, you will maybe lacking time, so you may be just seeing what is true. Don't do that mistake guys. Go through your question thoroughly because it's very important. Okay, and somehow like sometimes it can make like it can like make you confused, and in the period you will lose some time. And in competitive exams time is a very important factor, so just keep this thing in mind. So coming to our question, our options are: man is gifted with speech, few birds are also gifted with speech, language helps in transmission of culture, words are used to control behavior. Okay now, so these are our options, but sometimes I can understand this can be confused also. Let me tell you why. Man is gifted with speech, it's of course not going to be a matter of confusion because we all know we are gifted with speech like most of us. So yeah, this is a true statement, so we can just cross it. The second one is a few birds are also gifted with speech. Yeah, kind of, because parrot, na, parrot can speak. But guys, you have to give more emphasis on the meaning of speech right here. But I will talk about this later. You can keep this in confusion. Okay. Okay, let's move forward. Language helps in transmission of culture. Of course, yes, guys. Of course, yes. है ना? Actually, language can be even considered as a part of our culture. है ना? So this one is also we can cut because it's true. And the fourth one is words are used to control behavior. Actually, this is also true in one sense because you can think that yeah, words can be used to control behavior because this is our, this is how we interact with people, है ना? This is how we communicate with our people, our the people surrounding us. ठीक है ना? So the words are used to control behavior can also be uh, a true statement, but maybe some of you guys are having some confusions about this, so we can also put a question mark here. Okay, now, but these two options, the other two options are completely gone. Now we have only two options left. Okay, let's talk. Let's come to the second statement. Second statement में क्या है? A few birds are also gifted with speech. Here, the very literal meaning of speech makes all the difference. ठीक है? What man is gifted with speech? Actually, speech का मतलब क्या है? Maybe you guys are saying that it's an ability to क्या talk. No, guys. Actually, some birds are gifted with speech, but they are just imitating their our in our human body, vocal cord is helping us to talk. Like that, in some birds also they are having this kind of uh, physiological functions which they can use to talk some words, but they are imitating, they are merely imitating our voices. So this can't be considered as complete, like completely as a speech. It is not coming under the term speech. I hope you are getting this idea. Guys, trust me, this is not a PYQ discussion. Okay? I am telling you guys this because these kind of questions are unpredictable, guys. But if you know the way to do this, you will be getting marks. So this is actually a teaching lecture, guys, because we are learning the path, the way to do the questions, the way to deal with the questions. This is important here. Okay? So you will be cancelling out the options and you will be left with some confusing options. Then you have to और दिमाग लाना पड़ता है. ठीक है? And as we have taught, like here there is a cheat code also. Let me tell you guys. Man is gifted with speech. Few birds are also gifted with speech. This speech is common here, but you can now compare. This same speech which was gifted to human is definitely different from which is given to birds, right? So you can easily find out that this is the wrong one. Okay, you can also cancel out this. Because youths, actually we are also working on one research project right now, which is like in ITEP only, which examines the power of words. Okay, so I just told this to give you guys more idea about this. Words can be used to control our behavior. Yeah. So yeah, that's it, guys. This is the way to do these questions. आगे चलते हैं next question. ठीक है. This you guys read a question because I'm not going to read this right now. Just post this video and read this, then I will start reading. Yeah, guys, I hope you have done that. Now let me read this question once again. Which of the following is not a problem faced by some students in language learning through literature? The options are basic pronunciation and grammar mistakes, limited vocabulary, literature is too contextualized, high proficiency of language. Maybe after reading these kind of questions, some only I'm talking about some students. ठीक है, some students will be thinking that, oh ये सब क्या है, very confusing है, कुछ नहीं guys. That's why I told you you have to give importance to what is given in the question. ठीक है, which of the following is not? Here they have even mentioned that not in bold letters. ठीक है, they are even trying to help us, guys. ठीक है, here the note is very important. Why? Because these first three options are having some negative, like negative impacts on learning. Like let me tell you, limited vocabulary. Of course, this is our limitation in this language learning, right? Basic pronunciation and grammar mistake. It's also talking about a mistake. In the second option also, it talks about limited vocabulary. First option talked about mistakes. The third option, which is talking about literature, which is too contextualized. This is also a problem. If the literature is too contextualized, contextualized matlab, like for example, if one book is about too much about Bengali culture, so Bengalis can relate it more than a person like me who is coming from another place. Okay, so that's the meaning of contextualized literature. Hey, it will also makes us difficult to understand what the author uh, like exactly means, right? So these three, the top three things are talking about some kind of limitations, right? Some kind of negative things. But the fourth one, guys, high proficiency of language. How come it will be a problem faced by some students in language learning through literature? Guys, they are having high proficiency of language. So क्या दिक्कत है, अच्छी बात है, आगे चलो, है ना? So yeah, I told you guys, this is very simple. If you are just going from the top, like bottom to top approach, if you are reading the first option itself, you can simply answer the question. This is the answer. Okay, na? But I discussed the other ones so that you will be getting an idea about how to deal with these questions, because sometimes you will be left with two options, like we have seen in the previous question. Okay, I'm talking about some guys, because for some guys it will be very easy, guys. This kind of question in this unit 7, the second part we were talking about, is very easy for someone who know how to deal with this kind of tricks. So actually they don't even have to watch this video. This video was for the guys who have some confusions in these areas, but the guys who are very okay with these kind of questions should go through the memory based ones. Okay, that you can't apply your tricks and tips there, है ना? So that is common for everyone, but this is an art, guys. If you are confident enough and if you are well prepared, you can easily get marks from this question. Yeah, guys, that's it. I hope uh, you guys got an idea about the way in which the questions are coming from this unit, and the way to do to deal with this kind of questions. That's it, guys. I think this is a short video and I hope you guys enjoyed. Practice more, just go through these questions once again so that you will be getting more understanding by today's itself. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more lectures.